It all adds up to the Lions starting deep inside their 10. But they lead by 10 here early. Lule, the handoff inside. And Robert McCune, the tackle on Andrew Harris. McCune with 10 tackles, a career best last week against the Alouettes.
The hammer. And a matchup we'll be watching with Robert McCune, who's a pure middle linebacker, much like the BC Lions play with Adam Bighill. He'll be going one-on-one on first down against Andrew Harris in the running game. And Harris off to such a great start.
Harris #1 in yards from scrimmage. He's 4th in the league in rushing. 2nd and 5. Lule, and he's got an open man. And again, it's Ernest Jackson. A first down up to the 35-yard line. Finally cut down by Jalil Carter. But again, a chance for Jackson to make an impact in this Lions offense.
Yeah, he's recommended by former BC Lion and Saskatchewan Roughrider head coach Danny Barrett, University of Buffalo, and comes in and gets a chance to play when Nick Moore last week had just 1 catch for 15 yards. I want to take a look at Jackson.
2nd catch, 22 on that grab. They go back to it, falls, but still makes the catch. A Rochester native who said he used to come up here for Carabana, which just happened to be this week.
Yeah, it just happened.
But I don't think he was at the parade. Here on business this time.
Well, Kier Johnson is the guy who won the spot coming out of camp. Of course, he's injured. They gave Nick Moore a look, and now it's Ernest Jackson's turn. So a couple of catches early in this game for Jackson tonight.
6'2", 200, and they like the way he gets separation. Good speed. 2nd down. Here comes pressure. Lule got it away, and it's a first down grab. That's Akeem Foster with another catch. And a first down for the Lions.
Travis Lule against the Calgary Stampeders was dynamite on 2nd down. And getting into that role that we saw at the second half of last year, and you could take a look at the numbers. On 2nd down, 14 of 17, 198. He had basically a perfect quarterback rating. And a couple of touchdowns and just money on 2nd down when he had to move the chains and keep the offense on the field.
Over 76% last week on 2nd down in conversions, and the Lions have been over 65% the last 3 weeks. Offense is clicking now. Lule, Evan McCullough with a decleater.
And the timing was there on Sean Gore running a crossing route. And the Lions like to do this. In fact, that Ernest Jackson catch was a crossing route just like this one. So Evan McCullough sees it. He files it away and says, okay, if you're going to run crossing routes, run them, but you're putting your receiver in harm's way. And the timing bang on that hit.
Not much has gone right for the Argos in this opening quarter. We'll see if that switches the momentum. 2nd and 10 from the 47. Lule timed, then batted down. A knockdown by the veteran Ronald Clemens. And the punt team has to come on for BC.
In that rotations, had a knockdown in back-to-back weeks. This is the 3rd straight week for a key situation on 2nd down. Ronald Clemens got up the field, blocked pretty well at the line of scrimmage by Ben Archibald, but when you get blocked as a D lineman, get your hands up in the throwing lane, and he knocks that out of the air.
So McCallum to kick. Owens is back. Owens has had at least a 20-yard return in 4 of the 5 games so far this season. And McCallum trying to boot it away from him. At the 15. Away goes Owens. Another move. And dropped beyond the 35-yard line. A 48-yard kick and 23 on the return. So it's now 5 games out of 6 with a 20-plus punt return for the explosive Chad Owens.
And gives Ricky Ray a chance to get this passing game on track, because coming into this game, he was on a tremendous pace. 5,551 yards. Good field position will help give his offensive team that confidence back. That's a pace to be his second highest in his career. We're talking about a Grey Cup MVP here.
They go back to Corey Boyd, straight ahead. And not much there as he's in the grasp of Karan Williams.
I talked to both Ricky Ray and Scott Milenovich about bringing this system. Milenovich and Mark Trestman worked in Montreal to Toronto, and how much studying Ricky Ray's had to do to get it down. But I don't know about you, Chris, but we talked to Ray yesterday. Did you get the sense that he's just refreshed with this new offense? It's pushed him. It's caused him to go out and do a lot more studying, but he sees the upside potential of this offense.
Interesting that it is more study, but once he's in game, less decision making.
Yeah.
See what he comes up with here. Crossing right, and whoa, that's the high hurdle, still short of the first down for Dontrell Inman, who had that ball knocked out of his hand for the first interception of the game. Not sure Nick Lewis gets that high.
I guess everybody watching the Olympics a little bit because either that or doing a little Nick Lewis study film, but that's up over the head of Ryan Phillips, who's, what is he? He's about 5'11", standing straight up, and he's going to be close.
Got a good spot beyond the 45. It looks like 3rd and 1. Juracek the tackle. Yeah, everybody's into the Olympic spirit. Saw Khalif Mitchell earlier today celebrating the Usain Bolt 100-meter victory.
Well, I'm wondering if any CFL team, and I don't know this, but if any CFL team put Bolt on the neg list. You never know.
It's an idea.
Could stretch a defense a little bit.
Ricky Foley, active viewer of the Olympics and a former athletic star. Darius Jackson, the short yardage team, and
they take too long. Did they take too long to snap the football?
Looked like they did.
Time count violation.
Oh, that's
Toronto, number 12.
It's a cute,
5-yard
crucial
penalty. 3rd down.
Crucial mistake here in 2 ways. One, Darius Jackson knows better. If there's any movement by the defensive line, it should be an automatic snap from Jeff Keeping. Immediately drawing, once you have a defensive lineman drawn offside, snap it immediately. You get the 5-yard penalty and the 1st down.
Tim Brown deep. Waters to kick. High boot. Brown fields at the 18. Beats the first wave and then gets bumped down as Tristan Black makes the tackle. It's either Tristan Black or Matt Black on most kick cover tackles.
Let me show you what I'm talking about on that short yardage play. Now watch the jump for the BC Lions. Go ahead and run it, guys. Watch the jump. In the snap count, the Lions jump offside here. You're going to see in the middle of the screen, boom, they're offside. Snap the ball right then. It's a 5-yard penalty, and the Toronto Argonauts keep the football. Turns out they have to go back 5 on 3rd down, and they have to kick it away. Really a turnover. Won't go down in the books as a turnover, but that's essentially what it was.
Final minute of this first quarter. 10 points off 2 Argo turnovers for the Lions so far, and a 1st down at their 25. Andrew Harris unable to break through at the point of contact. He's brought down, and at the bottom of the pile is youngster Armin Armstead. Just turned 22 years of age this weekend out of USC.
Well, I said to Scott Milenovich, I held up the depth chart. I said, which defensive lineman is grading out the best game in, game out? He didn't hesitate pointing to 9-6. Said, this guy's going to be a stud. He's playing better every single game out.
Sets up 2nd and 10. Underneath, catch is made by Foster, and Marcus Ball tosses him down after a short gain. It's a 2-and-out. on the final play of the opening quarter. Lule and the Lions in the lead.
But they had that short field and 2 turnovers. Now, the Argos did settle things down. They got the stop on the second one to hold the Lions to a field goal, and then they got their first down when they got Corey Boyd involved. So I won't be surprised to see that more in the second.
Argos were +5 in the giveaway takeaway category coming into this game, but -2 on this day. You saw those numbers. We did expect it to be a pretty good defensive battle, with both teams ranked 1-2 in many of the defensive categories through 5 weeks of the season.
Well, and good special teams personnel as well, including Chad Owens, and a lot of football to be played here tonight. That turnover ratio is one that the Argos want to try and fix before this game's over.
McCallum launches that. It drives Owens back inside his 25. He gets cut off one way, reverses field, and runs out of real estate at about the 30-yard line. Six yards on the return after a 53-yard boot by McCallum.
And to get that passing game going, Ricky Ray is going to need to establish the run a little bit more in this second, get Corey Boyd involved, and then go to play action. And maybe he can hit a couple deep off of play action, because he's been successful at that with the deep throw, especially that corner route that he likes.
Just 5 first downs now for the Argos in their last 3 quarters. And only 3 points in those 3 quarters. Flag down. Ray flush from the pocket. Jason Araki will fall into the sign. That draws a reaction at the Argo bench, but no flag. The initial flag, I think, offside against Toronto, as Araki and Jeff Keeping discussed the play.
Well, Araki.
Offside, BC, number 90. That's a 5-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
Well, it's Brandon Pegues that was offside. So the Lions will walk back 5.
I was gonna say that Jason Araki is just, I think he was making the argument that he pushed Ray, but he was still in the field of play. And there was a reaction right by that Argo bench. Was he inbounds?
So 1st and 5. Quickly into the hands of Dury. Into traffic and brought down at the 38-yard line. Jabbar Westerman, the top pick of the Lions, number 2 overall in the 2012 draft, with the tackle.
Brampton boy, if I'm not.
I've already said Brampton once, so I didn't want to say it again, but if you insist.
There you go. Brampton, Ontario, Notre Dame High School. And
same school as Jerome Messam.
Yes. And Mike Benavidez told us at the beginning of the year, before even game 1, that coming out of camp, Westerman was going to get into that regular rotation on the D-line.
So you got Juracek and Westerman, a couple of guys who grew up in the neighborhood on the same Lions defense here against the Argos, as Corey Boyd plunges ahead for the first down. Adam Bighill brings him to the turf.
Well, we showed you Robert McCune versus Andrew Harris. And now let's show you Adam Bighill versus Corey Boyd, as he sifts and works his way through that mesh of bodies to get there to make the tackle. Milanovic saying yesterday about Adam Bighill, pure tackler. There's no DB in Adam Bighill. I thought that interesting.
Now he's old school.
Yeah.
Back inside. There's Boyd again. Taken down by Karan Williams. Mentioned it's his birthday. 2 years ago he played on his birthday, and it was a monster night in Edmonton. Look at those numbers. 3 touchdowns on the night. 164 on the ground and 4 catches, 46 yards at Commonwealth Stadium. Just 4 touches so far today for 13. Second and 8. Lin Shell on the blitz. Ray got away. Andre Dury has the first down. Dragged Juracek for an extra yard or 2 to move the chains.
Looked like that pocket was going to collapse around Ricky Ray, but his pocket presence kicks in, and he'll step up just about 2 or 3 yards up into the pocket, and that buys him just enough time to get it to Drury right there. It's a little slip on his back foot. He steps back up in there, lets the pass rush go past him, and then finds the dump-off man, Drury.
Ricky Ray mentioned yesterday that he's got one receiver, Drury, who's like a running back, another who's like a punt returner. Here's Drury again taking that pass and is punished by Big Hill at the Lion 51-yard line, but again, Andre Drury finds a few extra yards after contact.
Dontrell Inman opens up a little gate for Andre Drury to get up there and get fairly good yards on first down, because if he doesn't make that block, Inman, he doesn't get this block right at the point of attack, right there on Dante Marsh. Gets his arm around him a little bit. He doesn't get that block, it's a loss.
So 2nd and 5 for the Argos. Flag down, Ray hit, and it's picked off. First interception of the year, Byron Parker, the former Argo. And this will be the 10th interception return for a touchdown. There is a flag, but it looked like an Argo receiver. May have been offside. A 70-yard return as we wait for the verdict.
Byron Parker's waiting.
Already the all-time CFL record.
Offside, BC, number 9.
Wow,
That's a 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
takes a touchdown off the board.
And another record, because Byron Parker holds the record with 9 interceptions for touchdowns in the Canadian Football League. Would have set another one with 10. Comes off the board because Karan Williams moved early.
Boy, I was watching Jason Barnes, who I thought got too good a jump for the Argos, but it is Karan Williams. A couple of offsides for the BC Lions. They came into this game with 16 offside or procedure penalties on the year, and that one takes 7 off the board. And Byron Parker knows his way to the end zone, does he?
Oh, man. Just without hesitation. That was an inside curl. Most of his interceptions for touchdowns have been on that out when they throw it to the wide field, and he jumps the out, and there's no one to catch him. That was on an inside curl.
And one of them was against Travis Lulay.
Yes, sir. 2 years ago.
Part of the record setting. So 2nd and short with the former Lion, Jarius Jackson, getting extra yardage for the first down.
2 years ago, Chris. And it was the 7th interception for a touchdown by Byron Parker on his way to that CFL record as a Toronto Argonaut. And he intercepted at that time his teammate in Travis Lulay, who was just beginning his journey as a starter for the BC Lions. And what's interesting about that is that Lulay, the way he handled that throw and interception and lost to Toronto, was, according to his teammates, the reason that he solidified himself as a starter and a leader, and then 1 year later is the MOP and Grey Cup champion.
While the two players have different versions of the impact of that interception.
Objectional conduct.
I joke with Lulay about all the time. I said, I deserve a piece of that MOP trophy, because from that game on, he has done nothing but went straight up. You know, he's just climaxed after that play, and you know, he's been a great quarterback ever since.
Funny how a DB thinks, right? He doesn't remember the touchdown I threw to G-Roy at Empire Field last year over top of him. That was the last ball I remember throwing against him. He remembers the one from a couple years ago, but it's okay. We're in the same colors now.
Yeah, different viewpoints for sure. There were offsetting objectionable conduct penalties on the last play for Jarius Jackson and Lynn J. Shell.
Well, let's show you Travis Lulay's version of what he remembers last against Byron Parker, his now teammate, as he hooks up with G-Roy Simon in old Empire Field there for a touchdown. That's the one he remembers, not the one 2 years ago that Byron Parker took back for a score.
It's amazing how everybody has selective memory. Corey Boyd with a pickup with 5, 2nd and 5. Ray trying to keep it going. Wide open. Spencer Watt's got it, but he pulled down at the 15-yard line. Byron Parker, the tackle, and a flag back in the offensive backfield.
That took quite a while.
Holding, Toronto, number 52. That's a 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
So left tackle Wayne Smith.
And Chris, he's going against Karan Williams, and you know Karan Williams wants to make up for his mistake, and he comes so hard off the edge. I'm not surprised that Wayne Smith didn't just have to try and tackle him. He just relentless in his pursuit coming around the corner, and finally Smith pulled down his shoulder pad.
Smith missed the second half last week, 2 practices this week, nursing an oblique injury. Was some speculation they might go with import Tony Washington, but they remain all Canadian on that Argo offensive line. Here's Boyd on the backfield, trapped by Big Hill, could make the tackle, and now down the sideline. There is a flag. Corey Boyd inside the 5, a touchdown saving tackle by Ryan Phillips, but is this coming back too?
Boy, it looks like it is by the body language of both Ricky Ray and Corey Banks of the BC Lions, and you can see from Scott Milenovich as well.
Argo's the most penalized team in the league.
Illegal block, Toronto, number 89. That's a 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
Spencer Watt with the illegal block that may have sprung Corey Boyd.
Very close right here as to whether or not that was from the back.
They talk about 2 planes as opposed to 4 planes. In the old 4-plane,
Probably been okay. But talk about some penalties that have taken big plays off the board for both teams.
On this series,
Yeah.
that's 3. One negates a Lion touchdown, one negates Argos being first down at the 2, and there's a drop pass on 2nd down, and tempers starting to get heated down there in the pits.
That was just Corey Boyd just didn't get wide enough on that screen play. He got too close to the pack, too close to that pocket. So Ricky Ray didn't really have a throwing line or lane to get him the football.
So Swayze Waters to kick, and Brown is back. Tim Brown, who had an 81-yard punt return touchdown against Hamilton, has this at his 16. And more flags fly. 42-yard punt, 7 on the return.